And thank you so much for joining us for 58 and partnership for supporting everybody at home during this time. And potentially with the success of the last month, we will continue doing that because it's been fascinating and educating to learn from so many therapists and practitioners to help us really, really keep our health and well-being. And how amazing it is to have a chiropractor here today and a sports science professional to actually help us out with the whole wrong things that we're doing. Like now me sitting in the sofa instead of in, I think overall using Zoom, becoming that the way that we use our technology is very different from sitting in the office and typing. So if we did that previously very correct, that will change, I believe. And of course, we're doing all home exercise and, you know, doing our walks and yoga and stuff. And it would be good to have ongoing feedback around that. So we'll start with you to take over and you know, give us your tips and professional insights. And then we will be open for questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. So hi, my name is Dr. Ari Mihalidis. I have been a chiropractor for over 18 years. And today we're going to talk about working from home and what tips you can, some tips that will keep your spine and nervous system healthy. So chiropractors are known, I'll introduce a little bit about chiropractic first. We're known to help backs and necks and headaches and things like that. But actually we help with overall health and function as well. And we can give advice about that. So that's really what this is about helping your overall health, not just your spine, even though that's very important. As I said, we deal with the overall health of the body because we deal with the nervous system. I don't know if you can see this chart. Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit. If you can see this, your nervous system controls every single part of your body. It is connected to all your organs. So that it's really important that your brain sends these signals from here all the way down and then back again. And this happens millions of times every second. Now, the key is that if there's any blockages along these bones in the spine, well, these can affect our overall health and function. And so what will happen is you'll get decreased function in your body, really. So it's really important to maintain a good, healthy spine and nervous system. So the blockages can happen because of different reasons as well. And they can happen to babies, they can happen to adults, and they can also happen to the elderly. So that pretty much encompasses all of us. And they can happen because of different stresses that we have on our bodies or in our lives. And I would bet that we could put our hands up about these stresses, especially right now at this time of Corona, the Corona crisis. So there's physical stresses. These actually can cause blockages in the spine. Now, what are physical stresses? Well, they're things like sitting the wrong way. You mentioned about sofa, Michelle. Thank you for bringing that up. So sitting the wrong way on the sofa, having any falls or accidents or injuries. It can be improper, positions, sleeping on the sofa as well as sitting, using laptops, sitting for too long. These are all physical stresses. And then there are chemical stresses that we have in our lives. Things like alcohol, sweets, sugar, processed foods are all chemical stresses that we put into our bodies. And then there's also emotional stresses, and these can affect our spine and nervous system as well. So things like worrying about our loved ones, working from home, working with our partners, homeschooling with kids. Can anyone relate to that? So a lot of people have all these three stresses all at once. Sometimes in our lives, there's one of those things that is more, for example, you have a significant fall, or if you're working long hours at work and need to complete a deadline, things like that. So there are three stresses that affect our health and spine and nervous system. And what we can do about these stresses, we're going to talk about the physical stresses in a moment, but you can decrease these physical stresses or minimize them. Chemical stresses, I mean, obviously things like having less alcohol, more water, less sugar, all those sorts of things, eating healthy vegetables, it's really important. And also emotional stresses, things like meditation, mindfulness, yoga. I mean, any practice that helps to relax you is really going to be key. And you've got to find what works for you. So that's really what we're here to talk about. So physical stresses, what are tips that you can use to stay healthy? So the first thing is lifting your laptop. Now, if you are working from a laptop, keep working from a laptop. But because we're so forwards in the laptop, I mean, in terms of our use, we tend to stoop forwards. And this puts a lot of strain on our muscles, our discs, and our nerves in our back, but also it affects other parts of the body, as we saw with our nervous system. So lifting your laptop is really important, and using things that, like books or something to elevate your laptop. Do not use the sofa, because that encourages your forward head posture, which again puts a lot of strain and stress on your joints, on your nerves, and on your muscles, and can also lead to pain. But pain isn't the only thing we're going to look at, because pain only comes towards the end of the cycle. If you've had these blockages for too long, usually then it causes pain afterwards. So we don't want to wait for pain for these things to happen. So lifting your laptop. The next thing is raiding your linen closet. So put a cushion under your chair, give you a bit of absorption. If you're using kitchen chairs, put a cushion under it. That'll give you a little bit of support. The next thing you can do is get a rolled up towel, just like so, very tightly wound up, so it's nice and firm, and you put that in your low back. So we're looking at this area here in your low back. And what you can do is you can use that as a support, because our spine actually has natural curves in it, and it has 3 different areas. So your neck has a lordosis, your middle back has a kyphosis, and your low back has another lordosis. So you've got these inwards and outwards curves in your spine, and these are natural. They actually help distribute the weight of your head so that you're not too far forwards or too far back. It's a natural balance system. And when we use laptops, computers, or if we're sitting for too long, it actually takes, it affects the curves in your back, which can affect the way the signals go from your brain to your body, but it also can affect things like aches and pains and the way the joints are. So the key is that the nervous system has to be working at its optimal all the time. And you will notice by putting a rolled up towel in your back that it will actually improve your posture. It's quite amazing. So rolled up towel, really tightly wound up in your low back, and just find a point that you're nice and comfortable. Standing up, really, really important that we stand up every 30 minutes to every hour. And by standing up, you're actually taking away some of the tension that happens when we lean forwards. So standing up, have a walk around for 2 minutes, and you should be doing this whether you're at home, whether you're at work, or whether you're just sitting for long periods of time. You should be getting up every 30 minutes to every hour. And there's also stretches that we can do. So the stretches that we can do are, I'll talk about those in a moment, but going wireless as well. So you're getting a wireless keyboard, ordering a wireless keyboard, a headset, and a wireless mouse will help to keep a good support system for your body, so it's nice and balanced. So you're not too tight or sort of focused in the center, which is what laptops do. Now, if you are using a desktop, make sure that the screen is set far away from you, so your hands distance, and the top of the screen is actually set at your eye level. Okay, so that's where your screen should be if you're using a desktop. Making sure that your elbows are nice and relaxed, and the keyboard is in front of you in a nice, comfortable position. So after going wireless, it's stretching it out. So what stretches can you do? Well, there are different stretches that will benefit you in terms of releasing tension from your neck and your back and your nervous system. So the first one we'll do is neck exercises, and we can do these together now. So the first one is just resting your hands on the top of your head and pulling your head down, and you hold that for 10 seconds. And then you do that, you go back for 10 seconds, and you're looking in the direction that you're going in. Okay. And then you turn left over your left shoulder, and you're looking over your shoulder as well, because that will increase your stretch. And looking over your right shoulder and holding that for 10 seconds. Now, if you notice that during these stretches you get any restrictions or blockages, you may need to see a chiropractor or someone who deals with spinal issues like that. So that's a measure. If you're blocked, or if you're restricted, or if you've got a difference between one side and the other, it may be time to get that checked. So some more stretches. Thoracic twists. So standing up, putting your elbows there. Now you may notice some pops and clicks during these twists, and that's okay. Just the release of gas from your spine. It's nothing to worry about. So twisting each side 10 times. And that's a good exercise to do, as well as ladder climbs. Actually, there's another one. So standing up against a wall, or you can just stand up without a wall, reaching up as high as you can, and just looking up. And you can create little movements that way as well. And if you do these for every hour, you will notice that you have less aches and tensions. You're actually moving around, because humans are not designed to sit for hours and hours at a time on your sitting in a sitting position. So it's really important to maintain a good function of your body. And we know that mind, body, spirit is all connected. And so the key is, you know, if we can decrease the tension in your body, then also it'll affect how your mind works and have less tension in those areas, and really optimize your health. That's really what this is about. This is about your overall health being improved and your function improving. So that really ties up what we need to say with the tips. They're just some basic tips that you can do every hour and every day. And so if there's any questions or anything that you'd like to ask, please let me know.
Okay, thank you. It was actually quite nice to stand up and do some exercise. Anyone who want to ask a question, please write them down in the chat and we will answer them. If you're too shy to do it in front of everyone else, just send us an email and we'll forward it to Ari to send you the update, the answers. I do have actually a few questions. One, wow, thank you on that kitchen chair tip. Mainly because as you're homeschooling, you mentioned everything that's been office appropriate, just been taken, everybody working from home. So I've been the one using the kitchen chair, and I don't have aches because I do a lot of movements, but I was looking around thinking which cushion going to be actually allocated for that. So
yeah,
for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. There's actually another thing that I forgot to mention, and I'll answer the question in a moment, is that you can use the ironing board as a standing desk. So standing up and using an ironing board or a dresser as your desktop is also another easy way. If you don't have a desk or anything else that is appropriate, I would swap. If you're using a laptop, use the ironing board, use a dresser that is up, so you're standing up and working, because we know the standing desks have their benefits as well. So that's just an easy way.
Barefoot or we choose then?
Sorry, what was that?
Do we do it barefoot or we choose? What is better?
Barefoot is great. If you're not barefoot, you're overdressed, they say. So barefoot is always good because you get a connection with the ground, and your balance is you can get more feedback with your balance as well.
Okay, perfect. We have a question there. Let me read it through. I have a knee pain. Can that be connected to sitting too much?
Yes, absolutely. So knee pain can be the effect, and the cause can be somewhere else. For example, it could be the spine. It could be the knee itself, of course. But definitely, if it's something that is happening regularly, then that's probably something you can get looked at. You know, the knee is associated with, I mean, you can see that obviously this, if you can see that, I'll just forward that to you. I'll zoom in a little bit, that the knee is connected to your nervous system. So yeah, as I said, it could be a knee problem itself, but it could also be connected to here. So there's lots of people that can get referrals into their knees based on their spine, their positioning, or a blockage going on in their communication system, which is the nervous system. So I personally have had a lot of knee issues in the past, and you know, I've had that. That's now not the case because of regular care that I get. I see my chiropractor regularly, so that could be something that related to your back. Absolutely.
Okay. You keep on saying see a chiropractor. We are in lockdown. How how do we do that?
Okay, that's a really good question and a challenge for all of us now. I really miss working, but that's me. I miss seeing people and helping my patients. There are, when we come out of lockdown, because it will happen at some point, the key is to find someone, and it could be another health practitioner. You know, if you know that there's an osteopath or a physio that does great work, then go see them. But seeing any practitioner, you're right, it is a challenge right now. Some people are doing telephone health consultations, and other people are opening up. I know that in our Battersea clinic, for example, we'll be opening up on the 11th of May, but there's lots of clinics that are still closed. So the key is to, I suppose, get in touch with people when they do open, because it will happen at some point, and to follow the procedures. Obviously, they'll be following hygiene procedures, as we all are. It is something that will happen. So get ready when that does happen. But in the meantime, you know, you've got to stay healthy, eat the right foods, you know, do meditation every day, exercise every day, and drinking more water and moving around the house. That's really what you can do at the moment to keep yourself healthy, because health is about, yeah, you can see practitioners when you need care and you need to optimize your health, but there's also stuff that you can also always do at home that's free. And that's why we recommend you do these things every day.
Thank you. We may be opening soon as well, so we're starting to prepare.
Great to hear.
Yes. Okay, we have more questions. Let me make sure that we're not missing anyone. We are all so much on our phone now. Can you recommend how to prevent any thread pain in the hands? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Do too much texting? Yes.
That's a really good question, actually. So there are some web-based apps that you can use on your computer. I believe WhatsApp is one of them that you can download on your computer and use your keyboard instead. Now, there are some apps that are not able to, you know, to use on your computer. So the thing is, I would also start doing things like exercise. So the opposite of what's causing your problem, we talked about when you're sitting on a sofa, it encourages forward head posture, etc. So the opposite. So when you're texting, you're using you're using a fist, really. So opening up your hands, making sure that your hands are open, you're exercising your hands. That's really key. The other thing is making sure that your neck is in a good position, because what happens if your neck is blocked, the signals going into your hands will, you may get pain, you may get stiffness, you may get a whole number of things. So the thing is making sure that you're staying mobile, both in the spine and in the hands, and keep exercising. And I suppose having rest periods during the day is really important, that you just let your hands do nothing, that you're not carrying anything, you're not lifting anything, you're just completely resting on the floor, and you're just completely relaxed. I think that's really key. So there's no one thing you should do. There's a number of things you should be doing.
I think it's a good point as well. And thank you for that question, Melody, is with children, because kids, although homeschooling, when they're doing their homeschooling with, you know, in front of screens and electronics, a lot of them are using iPads for that. So that's a very good tip to actually maybe offer the kids to do kind of more hand exercise. So thanks for that. That's
yeah. I would say every hour, actually. The same rules for kids. Take a little break. You know, you can do a little dance or something fun for kids, because they need to engage. They're going to engage with the fun rather than we need to do this exercise. Yeah. So
Thank you. We do have another question. I have a bad habit of lifting my shoulders, especially when sitting and typing on the laptop. That's, I guess, very common, isn't it? Any advice to help fix or help this bad habit, as it causes some uncomfortable shoulder aches by the time I get to the end of the day?
Yeah, so regular, all those things that we talked about today is really key. So regular breaks will help to decrease the tension in your body. And again, you can assess your own spine, well, from home. You can do that now by looking if there's any blockages to your spine. This will affect your shoulders as well. It also affects all the muscles in your back when you have these blockages. So, do the test that we just did before. So try different directions. If you look down and then if you look back, are there any blockages or tension or pain there? And if there is, it usually means that there's some blockage that needs to be resolved and needs to be seen to by a trained health professional. If that blockage is there, then that needs to be checked. But what you can do is things like shoulder rolls, getting up every hour, moving around, making sure that you have the right setup at your desk. So again, the screen at your computer should be at the eye level, the top of the screen. The keyboard should be in front of you so that it is, when you bend your elbows, it is right there. Okay. Now, I don't know if I can show you this, but
now we
really,
can.
yeah. So really what you should be doing is bending the elbow at sort of 90 degrees and the keyboard should be right here, right in this area. Okay. Now, if you are using a laptop, it's getting wireless and Bluetooth equipment to help decrease that tension, because if you're elevating the laptop, then obviously your shoulders will be up here. So it's really important to get a separate keyboard, as well as there's laptop stands that you can buy, which are very good. They're not expensive at all. And you can buy those. There's all sorts of equipment that you can use. And look, we may be in lockdown for another 2 weeks, 1 week, a month, we don't really know. So it's really important to get the right equipment now rather than waiting till this is all over, because there may be more times that you're working from home from now, in the future. So really there's a number of things that you can do. So check yourself, see if there's any blockages, and you'll notice those in your spine if there's a difference between side to side or up or down. And then moving around, because that is key to getting our muscles to relax. And another thing is, I'd really recommend something else, which is meditation. I mentioned it before. Meditation is really important because when our mind is busy, our body is busy, and we tend to get this sort of posture. Have you ever seen a relaxed person walking around like this? Probably not. Have you ever seen a tense person walking around in a relaxed posture? Probably not. So they are related, these things. And I think another key thing is to let your mind relax. And if you haven't done meditation before, there's lots of access. I mean, on 58 Wellbeing, there's practitioners who are teaching meditation and mindfulness. There are something you can do at home is just listening to podcasts on YouTube and finding out how to do a guided meditation. It's pretty easy. It's just about practicing it. It's like riding a bike the first time. The first time you do it, you're not. There's no good or bad either, by the way. But the first time you do it might not be the easiest. But it's not about switching off the mind. It's actually about quietening the thoughts. You can never switch your mind off. That's okay. And when your mind is more relaxed and quieter, not gone or off, but quieter, it actually creates a really good feeling in the body. You get endorphins released, you get chemicals released. So we look at a holistic view of health. We don't just look at the spine. Chiropractors traditionally are seen as a spine people, but actually we look at overall health, as you can see here. And when your mind is working, your body's working, you're doing things that make you happy. If watching cat videos or funny stuff on YouTube makes you happy, do that during the day. That's your break. As long as you're laughing and enjoy, that's really key. So it's about doing a number of things. It's a long-winded answer, but it's about doing a number of things all at once.
And we do. Thanks for recommending on the different mindfulness and meditation. So during last month, we introduced different types of meditation and mindfulness on the webinars, and they're all recorded. And actually for May, they're going to be even a way to develop your own meditation with Ayurveda. So there are, I agree, loads of different ways. And I can say from thinking it will be very easy going to be at home. And for those of us who have kids with homeschooling and still trying to support others with webinars and you know, running everything around, it's been very busy. But I have to say, thanks to these webinars, I was sitting and taking part and then doing all the meditations or the yoga postures during. It did help. I, you know, probably helped a lot to my movement. So yes, definitely I can, that's a very valid tip, and thanks. We do have more questions. I have an inexpensive Bluetooth keyboard I use with my phone, iPad. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Using a separate piece of equipment will create the distance that you need to look and with your eyes so that you're not cramped up in one position. So yeah, if it works for you, again, but use it. You can have the best equipment in the world. You can have a very expensive chair and a great desk and a great computer, but you need to use it properly. So taking breaks every 30 minutes to 1 hour, doing the stretches that we talked about, all those things. You know, you can use an exercise ball to sit on, but if you don't use it properly, then it's going to cause problems. So you have to, you know, use it in the right way. So as with all equipment.
Thank you. Any more questions? I think that was a very interactive and a great session. And I think we're all at the stage that we needed a bit more help on our movements and our posture. As Ari said, very optimistically, we will be back to some sort of normal very soon. So, and as I said, we will keep on having those webinars to support people ongoing. Thank you so much, Ari. That was a really great session today.
Thank you. And thank you for hosting these. I think it's great that you've sort of created the space for everyone to bring some expertise in. So thank you as well.
Thank you. And yeah, our audience are saying fantastic session. So thank you. We're all going to follow that and get healthier as we go. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. We May started today. So the 1st of May is today. And Ari opened the May webinars. Please log in to our site and see the rest of the webinars are coming on. And potentially we're going to have Ari more during this month again. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Michelle.